Dozens of FBI agents surrounded the sheriff's office and the Hammond Police Department Thursday afternoon.
We're currently conducting multiple court-authorized actions. The investigations are ongoing, and we have no further comment at this time.
We are okay. It's just we're working with them on an investigation.
The FBI was raiding the Hammond PD.
This resulted in 20 people being charged, including 14 law enforcement officers and 6 co-conspirators.
The evidence will show they took bribes to facilitate the distribution of controlled substances.
Imagine being an undercover federal agent deep inside a ruthless drug cartel, only to realize the police lights behind you aren't there to save you. They're there to hand you over to the very people you're investigating. In Maverick County, Texas, the badge didn't represent the law. It represented the Sinaloa cartel's most elite protection service. It's 9:47 p.m. on Highway 277, just outside Eagle Pass, Texas. The air is thick, and the desert silence is broken only by the hum of a lone vehicle. DEA Special Agent Daniel Cruz is behind the wheel, making his way back to San Antonio. He's just finished an undercover drug buy, a high-stakes play in a 6-month operation. His cover is airtight. Fake ID, a manufactured criminal record, even a ghost vehicle registration. No one in the Sinaloa cartel knows his real name, or so he thinks. Suddenly, the darkness in his rearview mirror explodes into a strobe of red and blue. A Maverick County Sheriff's deputy is pulling him over. At first, Cruz feels a wave of relief. It's just a routine stop, right? He can handle a local deputy. He pulls over, rolls down the window, and plays the part of a tired driver taking a nap. But as the deputy approaches, something feels off. The questions aren't right. The vibe is cold. In that bone-chilling moment, the reality of the Texas border hits him like a freight train. The Maverick County Sheriff's Office wasn't investigating the Sinaloa cartel. They were on the payroll. Cruz wasn't being protected by the thin blue line. He had been hunted down by it. He had been found out by the very people sworn to keep him safe. Before we dive into how an entire American police department turned into a cartel subsidiary, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We uncover the darkest stories of justice and betrayal, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. What Daniel Cruz didn't know that night, what no one outside a small circle of federal investigators knew yet, was the sheer scale of the rot. We're talking about Sheriff Thomas Rivera and 34 of his 52 deputies. That is more than 65% of the entire force. For 4 years, these men hadn't just been looking the other way.
Our cameras were rolling as the Berry County Sheriff's Office was raided by the FBI.
They had turned Maverick County into a wide-open corridor for the Sinaloa cartel, facilitating the movement of a staggering $890 million in narcotics. Think about that number for a second. $890 million. Maverick County covers about 70 miles of the US-Mexico border. It's a strategic bottleneck. And Sheriff Rivera, a former Marine and an 18-year veteran of the Texas Department of Public Safety, knew exactly how to exploit it. He ran for office in 2020 on a tough-on-crime platform. His slogan, "No cartels, no compromises." It was a lie from the very first day. Within 3 weeks of taking his oath, Rivera was approached by cartel representatives. The offer was simple, lucrative, and deadly. $500,000 per month to make Maverick County cartel-friendly. In exchange, Rivera didn't just give them a pass, he gave them the keys to the kingdom. He shared police radio frequencies, patrol schedules, and the exact locations of border sensors. He even provided armed deputy escorts for drug loads to ensure they reached safe houses without a hitch. But Rivera had a problem. He couldn't trust everyone. So, he began a systematic purge of his department. He didn't just hire deputies, he screened them for vulnerabilities. He looked for guys with gambling debts, messy divorces, or money problems. If a deputy seemed unsure about the extra work, they were given a choice. join the network, or get fired on trumped-up disciplinary charges. Those who threatened to whistleblow faced a much darker fate: planted evidence, arrests, or threats against their families. By 2025, the remaining 18 honest deputies were surviving by simply keeping their heads down. They saw drug investigations mysteriously go cold. They saw evidence disappear. They knew the system was working, just not for the public. Rivera ran the county like a CEO of a criminal enterprise. He held weekly meetings with an inner circle of 8 senior deputies who acted as his board of directors.
FBI agents swarmed the buildings with the help of DPS troopers, while the FBI remains tight-lipped about the investigation.
Assigning escorts and handing out bribe money like holiday bonuses. If this level of corruption is shocking to you, hit that like button. It helps us get these stories out to more people who need to know the truth. The turning point came on October 15th, 2025, the day after Agent Cruz narrowly escaped his routine traffic stop. Cruz didn't go back to his office. He drove straight to the FBI San Antonio field office. He laid it all out. The FBI, led by Special Agent Michelle Torres, launched Operation Lone Star Betrayal. Torres knew she couldn't use standard tactics. You can't call the local sheriff for help when the local sheriff is the problem. She secured federal warrants for wiretaps on Rivera's personal phones. The results were devastating. They caught the sheriff of an American county speaking directly with Sinaloa logistics coordinators. They heard deputies discussing drug escorts, as if they were discussing a funeral procession or a high school football game. It was just another day at the office.
Well, those 2 federal trucks still outside the Precinct 2 Constable office. They've been here since 6:45 this morning.
But they needed a man on the inside, someone who could see the cash change hands. The FBI recruited Michael Santos, a former Army Ranger with a spotless record, but a very carefully crafted fake background. They gave him a story Rivera couldn't resist: a man with military training who was drowning in gambling debts and child support payments. When Rivera interviewed him, he literally smiled. He told Santos, "We take care of our people. You'll make enough to solve all those problems." Santos was in. Within 2 weeks, a senior deputy pulled him aside and explained the deal. Disable your body cam, ignore the sensors in Zone 4, and escort the black SUV. The pay? $50,000 in cash per month. For 4 months, Santos lived a double life. Every shift, he wore a hidden recording device. He captured footage of deputies meeting cartel members at dusty gas stations. He recorded Rivera himself meeting with Sinaloa reps in restaurant parking lots.
The FBI is being tight-lipped about who or what they're looking for.
By the time Torres was done, she had wiretaps, financial records, undercover testimony, and, most tragically, evidence linked to the murders of 12 people who had crossed the Rivera cartel. April the 22nd, 6 a.m. The sun hadn't even peaked over the horizon in Eagle Pass when FB1 tactical teams surrounded the sheriff's office. Simultaneously, teams were at the homes of all 34 corrupt deputies. At 6:03 a.m., the doors were kicked in. In his private office, Sheriff Rivera was doing exactly what you'd expect. He was sitting at his desk, counting $180,000 in cash that had been delivered the night before. He actually looked at his desk drawer, thinking about his pistol, until he saw the red laser dots dancing across his chest. "Sheriff Thomas Rivera, you are under arrest." He didn't fight. He didn't scream. He just looked resigned, like he'd been waiting for the bill to come due. Across the county, 34 deputies were hauled out in handcuffs. Some were still in their pajamas, others were halfway into their uniforms. The evidence the FBI uncovered was a mountain of betrayal. They found computer files detailing 4 years of cartel coordination. They found body cam footage that deputies had forgotten to delete. Clear video of law enforcement protecting drug shipments. And they found the money. Over $6.5 million in direct bribes to the office over 4 years. The fallout was immediate. Texas Governor Greg Abbott took the unprecedented step of shutting down the entire Maverick County Sheriff's Office. The Texas Rangers moved in to take over patrol duties. For 8 months, every single employee, from dispatchers to janitors, was put under a microscope. The 18 honest deputies who had been pushed to the margins, they were offered their jobs back. 14 of them took the offer, forming the backbone of a new, clean department. In December 2026, a special election brought in Maria Gonzalez, a former FBI agent who won with 78% of the vote. Her first act was to invite permanent federal oversight, financial disclosures, random integrity testing, and an FBI agent stationed inside the office permanently. The impact on the cartel was devastating. Without their protection service, Sinaloa's operations in the sector collapsed. Federal drug seizures plummeted, not because there were fewer drugs, but because the safe passage was gone. In the 6 months following the arrests, seizures by federal authorities actually spiked by 340% as the cartels scrambled to find new routes. But for the families of the 12 people murdered by Rivera's crew, there is no statistic that brings back what they lost. These were fathers, sons, and brothers, people Rivera saw as threats to his bottom line. Even President Trump weighed in on the case during a border security speech, stating clearly that no badge is powerful enough to escape justice when you break your oath. As the sun sets over Eagle Pass today, that sheriff's office is different. The badge that Thomas Rivera sold for $24 million now sits in a cold evidence locker, tagged as Exhibit A. The deputies who chose a paycheck over their honor are starting the first years of what will be decades in federal prison. Because at the end of the day, the badge has to mean something. If it doesn't represent the law, it's just a piece of tin. The fall of the Maverick County Sheriff's Office serves as a chilling reminder that power without integrity is just a different name for a crime. If you believe in holding those in power accountable, share this video. Let's make sure these stories are never forgotten. I'm the Defense Inpost, and I'll see you in the next one.